What's up, beer geeks? I'm Chris Cohen, Advanced Cicerone. This is Matthew Shapiro, also an Advanced Cicerone. We are with Beer Scholar, and we're going to talk about Flanders Red.
That's right. Also known as the Burgundies of Belgium.
Yeah, the most wine-like of beers, generally considered to be.
Absolutely. If you're a wine person, not too into beer, this is the perfect gateway for you.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. I have found that many a person who says, I don't like beer, the thing that they kind of fall for, maybe they don't like beer generally, but they'll generally dig these sour ales.
Absolutely. Different profile. If you've tried a lot of these big, super bitter bombs, rubbed you the wrong way.
Yeah.
Some more subtle, nuanced beer.
Right. And I guess, what I'll say about that, just to finish the thought on this whole wine people liking sour beer issue is, most beer is balanced by sweetness versus bitterness, right? All food, all dishes, they're all like balance of a variety of tastes. And so, with beer, you've got malt, which is providing sugars. That gets fermented out to some degree, but there's always some residual sugars. So there's still sweetness in the beer. And then you use hops, which add bitterness, and you get a certain balance, right? And so like with an IPA, there's a whole lot of bitterness. And with, Scotch ale, there's quite a bit of sweetness left, right? And it's just like how you do that balance that can really change the profile of beer. But maybe we're jumping ahead of things here, but with Flanders Red and certain other styles, that is not how the balance is done. These beers are balanced with sourness to sweetness.
That's right, the acidity.
Which is basically the same as wine, which is why I think a lot of wine people are into it.
Absolutely. Hence the nickname, the Burgundies of Belgium.
That's right.
Yeah, so Flanders Red, it's produced in the northwest part of Belgium, known as the Flanders region. And right now we're drinking the Duchess of Bourgogne. Pretty delicious.
Mm-hmm. So,
like the English porter, there's some darker, roastier malts, but it's not a roasty or bitter beer. Mm-hmm. There's a higher ratio of more bready malts, and it's hopped at super low levels. So after the typical fermentation, they brew it like an ale. Mm-hmm. They mature it for many, many months in these gigantic oak casks called foeders. Mm-hmm. And the brewery that pioneered the style of Flanders Red, Rodenbach, they have foeders as large as 60,000 liters. So that's about 16,000 gallons.
Yeah.
And if you go to the Rodenbach brewery, I really hope to one day, there's just rows and rows and stories of these gigantic
I've seen photos. I have never been, but it looks insane.
Yeah.
It looks like one of those things there's some historical event where this giant fermentation or storage tank broke in London and flooded blocks of London in the 1800s and literally drowned tons of people. I mean, it looks like that could happen if something happened to Rodenbach's facility. It would flood the whole countryside.
Totally.
Those foeders are huge.
Yeah, they're huge, and I mean they have a staff that takes care of the barrels. They fix them. It's serious stuff.
Right.
But the casks at Verhege Brewery, where Duchess is brewed, they actually use old red wine barrels, and really similar to wine production, the oak provides flavor, mouthfeel, and tannins. Mm-hmm. So not only are you getting that sweet and acidic balance, but the winemaking production style. Yeah, you get a touch of the little vanilla maybe.
They're reusing them. They're I think they're relatively neutral, but they do lend for sure some elements of wood derived flavor and tannins to these beers. No question.
Yeah. So to make a Flanders Red Ale, the beer is brewed, then it's aged in the cask foeders for about 2 years. And the casks serve as residents for several different types of microbes that are responsible for the tartness.
Yep.
You get some earthiness and other interesting flavors depending on what bacteria, good bacteria, like the kind you find in yogurt.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so, just to circle back to sort of the ingredients involved here, right? You mentioned roasty malts and malts, all beers made with malt. But this is not a beer that really focuses on malt flavor. It really ends up focusing on the flavors created by these microbes, right? Those darker malts are just added to give it this sort of light copper, deep amber color. And but most of the flavor and aroma profile all comes from these bacteria and yeast that are doing the fermentation. And so, I think we could say, like, ask what are those bugs that are working on these beers.
Yeah, so you have different types of bugs or bacteria that makes different types of acidity.
Right.
So you have certain bugs that are producing lactobacillus, which is the kind of bacteria that you'd find in yogurt, and you have some
lactic acid,
and some that make acetic acid.
Right. Acetic acid is vinegar.
Right. So you have this certain blend. I would say that Flanders Red tends to lean more toward that acetic level, but this doesn't taste like a cup of vinegar.
No.
So don't get it twisted there.
No, and if you've ever had if you've ever had a sour beer and you just thought, "Phew, that is like borderline salad dressing," it wasn't a good one.
Right.
That's a bad sour beer.
Yeah, and then because we're working with wood here, there is a little bit of Brettanomyces also taking place here. So
which is a yeast, which is a yeast that creates like all kinds of funky phenols, which are like these spicy and earthy characteristics.
Yeah, absolutely. Sort of the terroir of beer, depending on where the barrel came from, how it was taken care of, it can really influence it. And one Flanders Red is going to taste different from the other.
Oh, totally.
But something that links the Flanders...
one foeder or barrel might taste totally different than the other.
In the same brewery.
Right.
Which is why a big tradition with Flanders Red is this aspect of blending.
Right.
So they might take certain portions from different casks to blend together in order to get a consistent product. But a big hallmark of the style is blending older and younger Flanders Red. So you have these two different ages, and you're getting a balance of a sweeter and a drier, more acidic. So the younger is going to be the sweeter, and the older is going to be the drier, more acidic.
Right.
So when you blend them together, you're not getting something that's overly sweet, and you're not getting something that's bone dry. You're getting this blend of sweet and sour, this like perfect mixture. And that's where a lot of these breweries hang their hats, between trying to get that perfect balance.
Yeah, and some of them have like different releases that are different blend types. Like the Rodenbach Classic leans a little more towards the younger beer.
Right.
So it's a little sweeter, a little less sour. And then they've got the Grand Cru, which uses significantly more of the older beer and is a little more expensive, therefore. But it gives it this like drier character, a little more acidity, maybe a little more of those earthy phenols as well. So
totally.
It's kind of considered to be the finer product.
That's right. And a close relative of the Flanders Red Ale is the Oud Bruin. Very similar style, similar color. I mean, if you hold this up to the light, there are some like ruby garnet highlights, but from afar, maybe it looks brown. But instead of aging in oak, they age these in typical stainless casks.
In stainless, yeah.
So maybe a little bit more of the roasty malt character coming through. It's still not a roasty beer, but just less of the earthy and less intense, like acetic character. Yeah,
less acetic usually. I would say, none of these beers are like super malt focused. You can taste the malt. You can taste it. You can describe it. The Flanders Red, not gonna hit you with tons of malt character, but when you get to the Oud Bruin, you're gonna start getting like some nuttiness, maybe a little bit of toastiness in the background.
Absolutely. Yeah. More of a.
But yeah, like in the end though, it is the yeast and the bacteria that are providing a lot of the flavor profile. And so, just from sniffing this, I get like a lot of like black cherry, almost a little whiff of cola, but it's mostly a lot of fruit character.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'd be more of an even split. They are putting these bacteria in the Oud Bruin, so you are going to get similar acidic character, but you're just going to miss out on the earthy, funky stuff.
Yeah, I don't believe they use Brett usually in those.
I don't think that they pitch it. Usually Brett is living in the fooders.
In the wood.
I'm sure that certain producers, they pitch Brett and they're also to get whatever character, but
they can do whatever they want.
They can do whatever they want.
They're
it's
in
Belgium.
Charge. Yeah, it's Belgium. They can do what they want. They don't care about styles. they would be annoyed to hear us talking about how these ones are like this and these ones are like this, because to them it's all just like a food product.
Yeah.
And they can do it however they want.
Beer is creativity. Beer is art.
Yeah. It's all like cuisine de beer.
Right.
De la... What?
Cuisine de la bière.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
I got you, dude.
And yeah. And, you know, for them, it's like food to be, you know, drinks to be paired with food. They have a very different culture around this thing.
Yeah, cooking with beer. This is a fantastic beer to cook with.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, in lieu of wine, in lieu of lemon juice, in lieu of whatever acidity, you're getting the acidity, but you're also getting these deep, bready, Maillard things that happen.
Right.
I mean, that's malt.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's maybe worth mentioning like how these are different than lambic and goose.
Sure.
You know, these have, I would say, more controlled, like the yeast and bacteria that are used to make them. It's a little more of a controlled situation. With lambics, you know, the sort of legendarily, they just kind of open the window and let whatever blows in get into the wort and do the fermentation. And so you end up with, you know, for lack of a term of going into great detail about the terminology, like just a funkier beer.
Totally, yeah, the spontaneous fermentation of the wild bacteria in the air. And these are known as mixed culture beers. So it's this mixture of styles. You're using the bugs, but you're also pitching typical ale yeast. So
Right. And so with lambic, of course, there's going to be yeast that also just gets in there. So it does end up doing a lot of the fermentation like wild yeast. Similarly, aged in wood, at least similar to the Flanders Red, and then blended also. So there are a lot of similarities.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'd say if you're a wine drinker, interested in trying some beer, go out, grab a Flanders Red, a Nude Brune. I think you'll like it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers. It's good.
It's quite nice. It's like, it's got enough sweetness that like that black cherry aroma for me, when you add that little sweetness to it, it does have this like, gosh, I feel like this will turn people off to say it maybe, but like cherry cola kind of vibe. I don't know. I like it.
No, totally. It's like
great.
It's like the compote you put on like a cake or something. It's kind of the profile it reminds me of.
And it does have a little touch of vinegar in there. It's the vinegariest of the styles, basically.
I would say so, but it's, I mean, have this with a bite of dark chocolate and it is just a magical thing.
That's true. That's true. All right. I think we're good.
Yeah, we're out.
Cheers.